Picking up Axel Bassani here, down in 14th position at present. 14th on the grid here in Phillip Island for the last 2 years. He's only had one front row start in his Superbike career. Superpole a real weakness for him, an average of 11th on the grid last season. He needs to improve from well down the order on the 5th row of the grid. Elsewhere around the circuit, Bulliger, Egerter, Iannone, all 0.2 of a second up. Bassani crosses the line, can only move P13, but watch here for Iannone. Lowe's goes up to P5. The track is getting faster and faster. This Superpole session is getting faster and faster. Iannone, the one we watch for, his first qualifying session since 2019, and he's making his way through now. Toprak Razgatlioglu's just crossed the line for a new personal best. He's less than 1/10 of a second down on top spot. Dominic Egerter with a 1:28.4. Iannone 1:28.154, a quarter of a second faster than anyone else has gone this weekend so far, and the Team Go 11 man goes top, but Nicolo Bulliger now displaces him. The newcomers leading the way in Phillip Island.
Iannone had the advantage of that toe from Egerter, but Lowe's coming across the line now could move himself up to the top.
Alex Lowe's chasing his first pole since 2018, but it's only good enough for third position. He is up on the front row of the grid. 1:45 to go. It's Bulliger, Iannone and Lowe's on the front row. Egerter, Razgatlioglu, Locatelli on row 2. Gardner, Sam Lowe's and Alvaro Bautista row 3. Alex Lowe's has backed it off at the end of that lap. That's as good as it's going to get as far as he is concerned. But Bulliger and Iannone scrapping it out for top spot. Less than 1/10 of a second between them. Iannone goes for another lap but loses ground in sector 2. Bulliger is up by 1.5 of a second after the first sector.
Yeah, no one else really on course improved their times other than Petrucci. Could move himself onto the 3rd row of the grid and displace Bautista down to the 4th row.
That really would be a major surprise. You look at your former champions in the field. Razgatlioglu only P5, Bautista P9, Ray P11, and it could get worse for a couple of them here. Danilo Petrucci making his way off the final turn. The Barney man in his 2nd season goes slower in the end. He loses ground in the final sector, a little bit of a shake of the head. He knew that wasn't going to be good enough, so Petrucci stays down in P12. But what about Nicolo Bulliger? Well, he's been the fastest throughout pre-season, hasn't he? He is fastest already in this Superpole session, but with 40 seconds to go, he's 1/10 up after 3 completed sectors on his 2nd flying lap, and it's a sub 1:28 from Bulliger. Outstanding from the new signing. The reigning Supersport World Champion is #1 in the first Superpole of the Superbike season in 2024.
Yeah, it's been 15 years since we saw someone come in and have a pole on their debut. That was Ben Spies here in Phillip Island. So for Nicolo Bulliger, if you're in the conversation with someone like Ben Spies for what he did in his single season here in WorldSBK, it shows just how impressive it is. But to hang that 2nd lap on really was good.
Checker flag about to fall. Nobody is improving out there. That's going to nullify this session. It's done and dusted. Alvaro Bautista, 1:28.7, 9th position. Nicolo Bulliger, 1:27.916 on pole. A little bit of head scratching to do for the reigning world champion Bautista.
Yeah, a few people that are going to be wondering what they can do to make that step. You've got obviously Bautista and Jonathan Ray down there on the 3rd and 4th rows of the grid. You can see here Toprak coming across the line. He's up there inside the top 5. He's got his teammate Van der Mark behind him after that crash earlier on. Van der Mark's going to be down there in the 5th row of the grid. But Scott Redding down there on the Bonovo BMW, 19th on the grid after that big crash this morning.
Late effort from Garrett Gerloff here. He's down in 16th position at present. Could pick off Michael van der Mark and move himself up onto the 5th row of the grid, but that's about it. Nobody else is improving. Well after the checkered flag now, Bautista will come round. Gerloff goes at P14, 1:29, so ahead of Bassani, ahead of van der Mark as well. A couple of positions gained on that final lap from Garrett Gerloff, but it doesn't affect the top positions. Bulliger, Iannone and Alex Lowe's is the front row of the grids. Who would have bet on that before we went to testing at the start of 2024?
Who would have bet on that 15 minutes ago?
Yes, Iannone in particular hasn't really shone to that extent, I would suggest. He's found something when it matters on race day. Bulliger's certainly had the pace. Lowe's has had the pace through free practice this weekend as well. But Iannone in particular, the real wild card of that group.